up, App Nation? It is your boy, Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com, the place you go when you want action-packed content related to helping you grow your app downloads, and you know it. More importantly, those app revenues. And today we're going to talk all about viral growth. How do you put a referral program in place? What are the common mistakes that you're probably making within your app or your game for that virality? And what are the features that will lead for more sharing and more virality? And joining me today, I've got a good friend of mine. She joined me way back in the day in 2014 when I was just a little podcaster, and I had her on. She was running growth for Fun Run, Dirtybit, and we talked all about Fun Run and how they were able to really hit #1 without any paid marketing. She's gone on to start her own company, Megacool, and then sold that. And now she's the COO of Metal.tv, let me get this right, the largest platform to record gaming clips and video. That, once again, is Metal.tv. Aurora Berg, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Great to be back. I mean, we go way back.
Aurora, I mean, I had some sound effects. I meant to play those, so I apologize. Aurora, when I hear this, and I love the interview you did with Shamath, the mobile user acquisition show. What you talked about was, I hear this all the time too, where like, hey, I have this game. It's a great game, right? And it's usually biased. The developer saying, I have this great game, and I know people want to share it. I want to focus on that. And so I always say, like, hey, before you think about virality and referrals, you better have some excited users. And typically, and I don't know if you've seen this, sometimes most people think about virality too soon. But what are your thoughts in terms of like the common mistakes that you normally see when people are like, hey, I want people to start sharing my stuff?
Well, I think virality can't help a bad game, right? So if a game doesn't have its own hooks that bring strong retention, adding virality features to it won't necessarily do anything for you. So I would start making sure that your game is actually appealing to users. Now, there are things that you can do to make it more inherent viral, which is especially around like multiplayer features, right? Like if you have to play with someone, having a way to invite them easily and make sure that you can team up with friends to play the game will obviously like help drive that initial virality to the game. But I think what we're seeing the most is developers who are like, oh, I really want to go viral on Twitter or Facebook or whichever like social platform there are, because that is like external validation. And rarely is that the case, especially now in like 2021. So like, and what we see there is that you slap on like share to Twitter, share to Facebook type of features into your game, and usually a lot on like the home screen and stuff, and that's just not going to work. It takes up unnecessary inventory to do so. So that's just like starting out, like as some of the things that I would avoid, because what actually is the best way to drive growth through sharing today is through private networks. So what I mean by private networks is also called like dark social. It's the things that is hard to measure because you can't see it, and it's typically people sharing through like WhatsApp. It can also be like Discord, which is it's social, but it can also be very private, and you don't have necessarily visibility to it. Messaging is huge. So those are a few of the examples to start out.
My computer is getting a little bit slow. There you go. So one of the things I noticed too was Branch had this survey. This was a few years ago about direct messaging, SMS messaging being the platform that actually gets the highest engagement too. So it seems to be like the one way that people prefer to share. And also from the other side, it's the best way in terms of driving more growth and users on that end too.
Yeah.
Have you guys, I know you guys were heavy into gaming and getting people to share. what when you think about, okay, direct messaging, people sharing through that, are you thinking about like when's the best time for people to start sharing too?
So it depends on whether it's you're trying to build a habit uh, of sharing early on. Like you can definitely tie it to the onboarding, like at the end of of successfully understanding what the game is about. I like let's say you played a game and you've had this single player experience, and then now you're ready to invite your friends to bring them on the platform to make it a multiplayer experience. Like that is obviously a perfect time for you to build that habit of sharing from the game, um, bring your friends into it. There are also other times. So what we've seen work well is in games where you have like if you completed a game session. This can obviously be at any point in the life cycle of the game. Then if there's a highlight moment that is being called out, and you get the opportunity to share that moment. And what we see, if this moment is then being shared without any incentives, you're very likely to share it with other people that you know enjoy this game as well. So existing users. But if it's incentivized, meaning that you're getting a reward for either sharing it or for new players joining the game from your shares, then that drives new users to the game. So you can think about it as like a referral program. You're muted.
I try to do that. All right. Might be a good way to stop about this. I want to say hi to some people. Adrian's driving. Drive carefully. My friend, Solanto Apps. Oh, man, I wish I remember the name Solanto, but good to see you. Jamie, we're going to take a look at his app. Good to see you, my friend. And then we've got Spiritual Me, Yash as well. And then let's see. There's some things that we got. I don't know what this means. I'll be your number one with a bullet. I don't know what that means, but Benny's here. Hey, Benny. And I think that is good. All right. This guy. All right. Best hour of the week. All right. Good to see you, Miguel. Thank you, my friend. Roar, when you were talking about referral programs, one of the things as I was doing research for this interview, Branch was talking about incentivized referrals being more
Hmm.
effective, almost twice as more effective than non-incentivized. Can you talk a little
I'll
bit about
probably
that? And
even,
how we can,
yeah, I don't have the numbers from the top of my head, but
oh, I got you.
incentivizing is definitely the strongest, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's even higher than that. And um, it's pretty simple. If you're playing a game and there is no incentive for you to bring in friends, you need to have like a very strong reason for why I'm going to share this with you, Steve, who isn't playing this game already. It would be because I knew for a fact that I need you to be in this game with me and you will love this game. That's when I would tell it to you. And when it's not incentivized. Uh, and so I'm more likely to go to my existing friends in the game that understand why whatever happened was cool, or impressive, or sucked, and from that, um, sending those moments to existing users. So if it's incentivized, then, and I know I only get this incentive if if a new user joins, I know I have to send this to someone who isn't already on the platform, and that is just like a very very clear call to action. And I am then going to follow up with my friend who I invited to make sure they actually get on the platform for me to get this incentive.
Yeah, I like that, and I'm gonna share something with you that you wrote. I think, you wrote this back in the day in 2015, but it still sort
Oh
of
yeah.
applies to this, and you kinda really talked about how Crossroad does it. So some of the ways you can incentivize would be like unlock new features, exclusive characters, skin animations, and receiving lines, power ups, blah blah blah, and then make it super easy in using deep links. And this is what Branch does very well with deep links, but you kind of use this. Aurora has invited you to play, and it's perfect. Like, when you want referral programs and when you want people to refer, you always want to make sure when that referee knows who it's coming from. And so seeing a message that, hey, Aurora's my friend, she sent me this text message, I downloaded the app, and then the app shows me, hey, Aurora has invited me. It goes a long ways to that.
Yeah. So actually, this example isn't something Crossroad was doing. This was our recommendation to Crossroad
Got it.
and what would make it even more appealing and drive the needle even more for them.
Yeah. And I had Branch on for like one of my in-person events, and I'm going to screw up her name, but they were really talking about using that personalized refer experience to really get people engaged and increase that conversion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it here.
Yeah. By the
Anything you
way,
want to?
this this blog post you're showing was actually a blog post that was written before we even wrote a line of code for what is Megacool today. And
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry.
No, go.
And it was one of the ways we validated our hypotheses around what we wanted to build. So when we approached building Megacool, we knew that we had a lot of insight that would be valuable for game developers, just based on our experience from growing FundRun, and we got inspired by useronboard.com, and he does like first time user experience across like multiple popular apps. And then we selected these 5 popular games and dissected those and pointed out everything they were doing really well in terms of driving growth and first time user experience, and all the things that we recommended them to change. And then we summarized all of those recommendations in this big blog post, and then we had call to action links on, on all the things that we were pointing out as improvements, and that links to our then beta sign up website. And Yeah, if you click that link, I'm curious if it's still
Here?
where you say sign up here. Um, Oh, it actually goes there now. Okay. Yeah, cool. So
What was
this
it
used to
before?
be
Just like a forum?
a beta sign up page. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then we interviewed everyone who signed up to understand exactly what we should build. And one of our early big partners was Candy Writer, who today is probably most known for BitLife. And we worked closely with them on what's the pick, actually all their what's the games, and adult coloring book, and later Letter Soup Cafe, and then eventually a little bit on BitLife. But BitLife didn't work as much for what we were building because it was more text based. Um, but they were just great to work with and build out the whole suite of tools from there. Yeah, so that's User on Board. Has a lot of really good resources.
I've been doing this for clients too. It's like, I was like, oh, I should literally, that's interesting how they do it. I like the way they do it. I've seen another,
Yeah.
I forgot what the first floor
Yeah,
was
there's
something
one
else.
better. I believe it's growth.design. We try that.
Growth what?
.design.
What design?
.design. Design.
Oh.
So you put growth.design,
Oh.
I believe.
Sorry.
Yeah, these guys I think are the best in class right now. So if you click case studies,
Yeah.
it's very well done.
Onboarding TikTok. Nice. Let's look at one. Is it all video? Okay, we need to unlock it. Is
Yeah,
there next
it's
out?
not a video, but it's like more of an interactive presentation.
Okay.
Dang. That's annoying.
Yeah, we'll stop it there. That's good. I like some of the things you pointed out here too. What else would I want to get into? Oh, one thing you did really well when you're launching Megacool was content marketing. I mean, you guys wrote a lot of big pieces and you were heavy on that content marketing piece. Is this something that you think like game developers who like Jamie, he's got a very niche game that's a basketball simulator game that we're going to take a look at. Is this something that we can do just if we are a developer too?
I think it's less valuable, though. If you have a interesting interesting developer story that other people can resonate with, or like learnings that you can post to Gamasutra. I see developers doing that, like sort of case studies. How did I go about building out this feature, or how did I get my first 1,000 signups? Like those can help drive some momentum, but I think eventually your audience isn't other game developers necessarily. It's end users, who can be like anyone. So I would instead try and like narrow down on a community of, or like a pocket of people that you believe your game is very well suited for, and tap into that audience. And so I don't think content marketing necessarily is is the best course of action for that.
Do you have any experience when it comes to like Reddit? And I know there's these forums on here. Is this just a waste of time, or is this something that
Um,
you can do?
so if your audience is on Reddit, and you have content that goes well with Reddit, so either it's like very memeable or clippable, then I would assume uh, Reddit being a better solution than content marketing. I mean, there's you can probably argue that there's content marketing in being active on Reddit and respond to questions or post about your story there. Uh, so if you're like if your game is targeting a specific group of people, and you know that those people are on Reddit, maybe that's a good way for you to get things going.
Yeah, it would be
Um,
interesting.
yeah, they
I
probably
know.
have. I don't know for sure, but like on Twitter, you have Screenshot Saturday, which is obviously more for other other developers to see. But if people really like stuff, they are. I find that people really want to help if they see good
Yeah.
content and um, see someone that has a lot of potential, and so that's a good way to be reshared, and broaden your network that way.
Okay, I want to save some of the other questions I have for a little bit later, but I do want to get into some of the apps that we have in store. And so, if you guys are interested in getting your apps audited live on YouTube, just go check out appmasters.com/audit, appmasters.com/audit. We do have a long list, but we'll get to it eventually. And there's a paid feature if you just want to sit one-on-one with me for an hour, or you want to do it for free, you can do that as well and join the queue there. So, all right, Aurora, do you have a joke by any chance?
I did get. I'm not very good at jokes on the spot.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to give you one anyways. You know what? Because I want to do these I have this thing that I bought. So I want to utilize that if you don't mind. All
Go
right.
for it.
Aurora, why do archaeologists get all the girls? Why do archaeologists get all the ladies? Because they have the best dating techniques.
That's pretty
I'm getting.
dry.
Oh, that was a scary one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this app. We've got. Oh, shoot. I didn't pull up the email. All right, let me pull up the email. I forgot the person's name, but his name's right here. Benjamin. Benjamin is here. He wants to learn, he wants to know about how to grow downloads. We can get into that. So he's like, hey, how do I improve? No, its name is Monzillo Lou, if I said that right. Onesie Lou. So it looks like it's doing pretty well from a downloads perspective. 261 ratings. That's how I really judge it
How would
from.
you correlate that to download numbers? Like
I
when
don't
you see
know.
that number rating, is that like a 10% of the
Honest-
users have given a rating, or
I have
um,
no idea. I just guess if it's anything above 100 or so, I'm like, all right, you're okay. You're not like a brand new game. But if it's under 100, let's say 50, I'm like, okay, you're probably a new game. I do have some stats
yeah.
actually. 103,000.
Well, I would say that if he has 261 ratings and 4.7, like that is a pretty strong indication that it's a well um, it's a good game from just like a without even looking at the game. Like I have high hopes for this.
Yeah, me too. And I can look at, because I know one of the things that you mentioned is, and I've seen this with games, is like try to have a video. And I'm trying to see if he has a video within the App Store.
Mhm.
Do you think a video would be worth it to
Oh
try to
yeah,
increase
a video
conversions?
would definitely help because that's the that's easiest way for someone to not go through the um, whole process of downloading and then starting to play. Like it gives them a little bit of a snapshot. Though that being said, since this is a racing game, it might be pretty self-explanatory. I
Yeah.
notice it's up to eight players. Looks like it's synchronous multiplayer. I think today multiplayer is means that it's synchronous because the technology is just uh, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
He
Put in the
said, I'm
comments.
assuming this is the person I tried video, but I didn't see any improvements.
Yep. That's what he said.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I
Did
think
it like, do you have any data to share?
that would be interesting because we have seen mostly people ask this question all the time, or like, should I put a video? And I'm like, well, if you're a game, probably we've seen that be more effective. But for non-games, it's like what the
Yeah.
developer said.
Yeah. Are you able to look at your retention on users that downloaded during the time when you had a video versus when you don't have a video?
No, he says, I don't. No, I don't have any stats. I think the one stat I would be looking at with if I had video is the download for over impressions and the download
Mm-hmm.
over page views. So that's what I would be
Mm-hmm.
thinking about the most
Yeah.
on this game.
One stat that I can share is that I remember the exact numbers, but when we did referrals with and without a clip from the game, like the clip from the game referrals, like outperformed the message without it,
Mhm.
and we look at retention of users that are coming through the referral um, to be just so much stronger than than the regular user base. And one of the hypotheses is that we have for that is because the user had a sense of what the game was about from the clip ahead of starting to play. So it wasn't like a polished video ad. It was like exact gameplay. So just something to keep in mind. Um, you can also experiment with the video in itself, like if it's too long or not showing the things that you think would be actually appealing to your users.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
let me
but definitely look at your page impressions and
said on Android, I have a video and it's doing better regarding user acquisition. So
yeah, maybe you can pull up his Android page so we can take a look.
okay. One thing I want to, while we're on the iOS side,
Yeah.
one thing I did want to point out was Monzillo. So the you don't need raising experience again, right? Like if you're going after different keywords, you can have a whole set of, unless it's a brand that you really want to build and you want to get it going, then sure. But if you don't care about the Spanish Mexico, so sorry, side by side, this is the Spanish Mexico listing and this is the U.S. App Store listing. And just as a reminder, the Spanish Mexico indexes the US, or the US App Store indexes Spanish Mexico. So that's why he has different keywords here. But you have car simulator game, you have car simulator right here again. You can have a whole new set of keywords. And so what I would try to do is, if car simulator is one of the bigger games or real race simulator, then put that in the actual title up here versus trying to fit racing experience all over again, because you already have it. This is going to have the US is going to have, US title is going to have the highest weight. And so no need to repeat any of that stuff on here from an ASO perspective. Do you want to add, Roar? I think you're on mute. Sorry, I was looking at my screen. Oh, you're still on mute. Did I mute you? Oh, there you go. I might have accidentally muted you. Okay, sorry. What were you saying?
I said that I'm no ASO expert, so I don't have the answer for this. But if he changes the title completely on the Mexican App Store, is he still able to list for the actual title from the U.S. store on the
Yeah.
Mexican store, or is that then out of the picture?
No, I think they both help each other.
Okay. And when he does it on the Mexican store, does this populate across all Spanish-speaking stores?
No. It
No, he has
might,
to do
so
it.
that's the downside. It might if it's in like South America, but I know if it's
Mhm.
like specifically Spain Spanish, there's a distinction between Spain Spanish and Mexico Spanish. But I do believe, I'm not absolutely 100% sure, but I think all the Spanish speaking countries in South America are probably indexed through the Spanish Mexico localization.
Cool.
Don't quote me on that. That I'm not sure. So here's the Google Play listing. Let's take a look. 100,000. So it looks like he's doing a lot
Nice.
better on Google Play. And then the video is better converting here. I'm gonna take a look at the video. One thing that I've been testing is optimizing this YouTube video to see if that helps.
So how many
Any
views?
of
Oh,
100,000.
that's yeah. So like, does that is this the only place this video is being triggered?
Yeah, that would be
So
interesting to
does that
know.
100,000 is that only from the Google Play listing?
That'd be interesting to know. Put in the comments. Yeah, see, I think games be cool. Something worth
Only from
testing. I don't know
listing.
if
Nice. And so are you able to share exactly how many downloads you have?
thanks for the only for, oh, that's great. So try, one thing I would say is try optimizing this, putting the tags into YouTube. You know, YouTube has a lot of tags. Think about putting some of your big competitors in those tags. I've small sample size, but I've seen actually using competitors in those
Nice.
YouTube tags help one client increase like almost double his Google Play downloads from Explore. So I have some inkling. I don't know. We didn't do anything to the ASO. We just changed the YouTube. And I was like comparing the 2 weeks after adding the YouTube optimization versus the 2 weeks before. And we saw about like a 10 to 15% increase in the search downloads. Maybe it was like 15 to 20, but then the Explore was like double. And granted, he wasn't doing that much on Explore. But I think if you're trying to trigger Explore downloads, that's what I would start thinking about is the YouTube stuff. Besides, you know, the long description and all that jazz. Okay, around 320. What did you ask about the downloads?
Mhm.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So about a
Do you
third,
have the video up from the beginning?
half, right here. Oh, you're asking questions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because it's just interesting to hear. Is the video showing any UI from either Android or iOS?
No, it doesn't look like it. It just looks
Yeah.
like gameplay video.
Hmm. Yeah, I would maybe try again putting it up on the App Store, and because if it doesn't hurt, then or it's better for your users to get visibility into what's happening. You can try and make it even shorter, so it's more snappy.
Great. Okay. I'd love to know what he's done on growth side, but it looks pretty solid from everything else. Let's get into the game. Wow. So we don't run out of time as well. Boop. Open. I'm going to let you lead the charge, Aurora.
All right. So this is now streaming from your phone, right?
Yes.
Scary as a vampire.
Oh, shit. Trying to censor
Wait,
this.
so the first thing you get is a daily reward?
Yep. This is first time open.
Very,
first time opening
okay.
the app. What should I do? Claim?
I mean, there's no downside. I would. Yeah, let's see what happens now. I think you got 50 back. I would have something more positive, like continue or something.
Right.
Especially since
No.
this is the first time you're seeing that. Like, first and foremost, you have no idea what this reward will give you.
Right.
So there's like a bunch of questions as a user, like why is this even important? You know.
Sorry, Aurora. One of the things I would add to this too is a way for me to double. I know Fun Run does this really well, and I kind of used Fun Run back in the days to talk about how you guys were doing video ads so well.
Mm-hmm.
I still put you as the Fun Run team, Aurora, but it's like
that's
you
fine.
do the daily rewards and then allow me to double this. And we've actually seen this work really well for a client of ours because it's like almost instantly anytime we run any type of campaigns, and I can get to some of the campaigns we talked about, but he's able to, you can see his ad revenues skyrocket when he started adding this. So he gives a reward just like you are doing. And then he allows you to double that reward by watching a video. So, and I agree with Aurora. Back is a little bit crazy for this.
Yeah, I also think that like I would if you do add double reward, that's great, but maybe not this early because that means that within like 10 seconds of opening the game, you're watching a video ad. Yeah, I think there's some polish that can be done to the UI on the store screen and such, but I also know that a lot of like I think we're working with a developer that does like crate opens for CS, and it has a similar UI. So maybe this is actually the UI that works best for that audience. Yeah. Oh, new UI is in progress. Nice.
UI is in progress. That's what he said. Okay. So without getting into some of the gameplay, one thing you can do to drive growth is what my favorite campaign called an app advice campaign. And I'm going to take a look at one thing real quick for you. I'm in the Spanish Mexico. Okay, looks like you only have this game. But a great way, Onesie Lou, to drive downloads would be to go on app advice. I've talked about this campaign a couple of different times, but what you can do to get featured on this app advice, and for games, you can do thousands of downloads within a matter of a couple of days. They're really good users and they end up buying more stuff. And so what I would do is, because this is the strategy we've used with one of our clients, is give the bonus away, add the rewarded video to double that bonus, then come in here. Because you have this banner ad, you're going to have to make this remove ads for free. So it's easy to do within the App Store Connect. You can do that all on your own without a developer, and you can schedule it. And then you pitch app advice and say, hey, I'm making this remove ads for free. It's normally $1.99. You get press for it. They cover your app, and that can drive thousands of downloads. And I usually kick that in with the new fresh ASO to give those new keywords a little bit of a boost. This race button's super tiny.
Yeah, I would make that much bigger because it should be a very clear call to action. Like one of the things that we had huge success with Fun Run was how quickly you could get into the first race, and it was just like two clicks. We didn't have a tutorial at the time, also.
I don't think you need a tutorial. If you guys haven't checked out Fun Run, it's still one of my favorite games, but it's sort of like a Mario Kart style game that you can play. We usually play with people right next to you.
There's a Fun Run 4 coming, Steve.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still have those stickers, Aurora.
Nice.
Fun Run stickers. Special place in my heart with Fun Run. Now my son, 13 now. That's crazy.
Wow, he's
Okay.
that old?
Yeah, right? He must have been tiny when we first met. So 2013. Yeah, he must have just been 6.
Yeah, we had the barbecue at your house in
Yeah.
2015, I think.
Yeah, I remember. Okay. I mean, overall, pretty good. Solid. Gameplay is solid. I hate this banner, so I'm sure you're making your revenues. I'd love to know in the comments if your revenues are coming straight from these banners or in-app purchases, because this banner is kind of annoying right here.
Do you feel the pressure of being good at racing games now, Steve?
Not at all. Why? Because Fun Run?
Because you're
No. No, overall, it's pretty
I
good.
mean, when I play racing games, like car games, I'm
Yeah.
one of those that moves.
Yeah, I lose all
So
the time too. I suck at these things.
I'm glad I'm not the one uh,
Oh, this is the camera
doing
view.
this.
I thought that this thing meant like I was recording for some reason. Just feedback. I don't
Yeah,
know if it's probably just as me, but I thought I was just it was recording. So I was like, what does that thing do?
yeah.
I didn't think it was going to change views. This top right.
So
Anything you want to add?
I am wondering what the purpose of this first lap is. Is it to learn the controls and be in like a safe environment?
Yeah.
Or because it doesn't seem like there's much new experience than that you wouldn't be used to if you if you played other racing games before. So I would um, I would experiment with throwing someone straight into a game and see how they're doing.
Yeah.
This
And
is
this
just
is
a
a quick
quick
race.
race.
Yeah, it's a quick race, and
Yeah,
it's not quick. I thought it would be
yeah,
done. I thought I'd
yeah.
be
Like
done by
we're
that
we're
first
playing
lap.
one
I
and a
was like,
half minute and it's not done.
yeah. And this button's tiny, so I would probably fix that if you can.
Yeah, because Benjamin, what you want to do is when you end up on this screen, you want to make it very, very clear visually what the user should make as their next action.
Yeah, great. I like these things.
Yeah, and I think to my point earlier about the share, can you go back and hit the, for instance, the
Sure.
Twitter share?
Twitter
What
share.
does that do? Let's look at the message.
Oh, it doesn't say anything.
Oh, so it's
Doesn't.
actually not a share; it's a follow. So now if you go back, did you get that reward?
No. Well, I got the
No.
Instagram, but I didn't get. Oh, yeah, I got it. Took a minute.
Okay. And then if you hit the Facebook, what like does it actually
Let's see.
so something to be mindful over as well is if you have like that's was it 6 social networks? Um you you want to make sure that those look like are maintained and are lively for people uh to feel like it's worth following them. If not, they'll just go and follow and then unfollow probably.
Yeah. Say it's most of its revenues from in-app purchases. Which in-app purchases? Is it the remove ads? Is it the some of the money here? Because if it is not the remove ads, I think the banner is fine, but I think it's very much annoying when I'm actually playing it. I don't mind it here, but when I'm actually in a race, it's very annoying. So if you're not making much of your revenues from the remove ads and that part, I might remove that banner ad while I'm racing. Don't mind it here. And then think about rewarded videos too. Because Aurora,
Yeah,
you
you can
wrote this
also,
blog.
yeah,
Yeah,
I would also experiment removing the banner ads completely and look at how it impacts retention. Um, just
interesting.
as an experiment, or like do a cohort where you have a control group and that
So is it
cohort can
money,
see how it.
cars, and ads? I like it. So I guess people want to buy the cars right here, and then they want to buy money, and then some of it is ads. All right. Well, fair enough then. because you're making it annoying that you probably won't, if you like the game, you probably want to remove those ads anyways.
Yeah.
So
So when you came here earlier, did you say practice or did you say quick race or
I put quick race.
yeah. So I would here if you do want to help educate the user, I would try and make it clear what you recommend the user to do first. And maybe you have
Mm,
some data on like which of these are actually like are you able to make some correlation between your most active users in terms of retention and which of these races they are focused on? Because this is just overwhelming. Um, like as a first time user, like I would much rather just like get into a race, try it out, see how I perform. Maybe you'll have some ghosts there to make it easier for me to actually feel successful. Um, um, yeah.
got it. Love it. All right, Aurora, I want to make sure we're good on time. So I want to get into Jamie's app too, because really want to get your thoughts on this app.
So what
Okay.
was the ask here?
The ask is just first time user experience and monetization strategy. So
Okay.
the game is Geeked Out Basketball simulator game. And so
Okay.
it is a game it's a basketball simulator game. You don't actually
Hmm.
play basketball. It just simulates a game for you. So you're
Gotcha.
sort of like a coach throughout the whole thing.
Hmm. I just for completion, I have never been into these type of games, so keep my feedback with a grain of salt.
Yeah. So here's the
Um,
first screen that we're with.
so I would here first ask: is it necessary to sign up to get the experience,
Yeah.
or
And
is there a way where you at least can delay this? Because
I
I
said the
would,
same thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I said the same thing. And he said it is necessary. If I remember correctly, Jamie and I did a premium app audit. We talked for an hour. And so I moved them up the queue just because I thought like it would be helpful to do
Okay.
it. Yeah, I said the same thing. And I said, if you have to do it, add a couple of different screens before you ask me. Like remind me, like, hey, why people would love this game that are into it. He understands it's a small niche of people that
Hmm.
want this particular type of game, but his retention is really strong from the beta users he's had. But I said, look,
Okay.
like just remind them why they're here, right? And
Yeah.
then ask for the registration. If he has the stats to say that prove
Yeah.
otherwise, then that's fair enough.
Do you have stats on how many people actually follow through on signing up, or like who churn on that first page? Because if
Yeah,
your
let's see.
stats are good, then it's fine.
Let's go to here. I don't think my password ever shows up, but just to be safe, I'm gonna move it. I need a different thing for this stuff. Okay.
Okay, you definitely want to have some analytics in place on the drop-off rate
Yeah.
for that sign up page.
So I got to put in the confirmation. Oh, Jamie, he told me it's confirmation because I put in the email address. I had to put a different one since I already used my other email address with him the first time we talked. So, but I don't have the other one readily available. I'll have to check it. All right, let's see if I can get into this really fast. I can, yes. I hate these things, just like a total bum me out type of things. 483. Again, if this is necessary, it's just more barriers, right? Like we just want to remove barriers, get them into the game as much as possible. All right. All right, Aurora. So I
Yeah,
don't
is
know if you
there a
can move those.
reason for the 2FA also?
Yeah. I don't know.
That seems like something I would, if you definitely have to do the signups early on, I would look at the metrics, but the 2FA, it can be like rewarded later.
Yeah.
Like add 2FA to complete your onboarding. Here you get X coins to do so.
So Jamie says, I'm looking into moving this so folks can experience the game. And then he said 25% of store visits download the app, don't have stats on registrations. You might want to try to get that up too, because if it's downloads over store visits, that means people are actually coming into and looking at your product views right here, Jamie. People should be downloading it, because if you look at the search results, right, the impressions, okay, maybe they don't do it, but within the search results, people can download your app. And so if they're tapping in, this, you want to be somewhere around the 60 to 70% range if people are actually seeing your product page and not downloading your app. So that's something that you might want to experiment with, either a video or a, changing up the screenshots a little bit. And I think we talked about that too.
Yeah, I think also you, since your rating amount is so low, I would get more friends to help you out. So ideally get at least over 100. So it seems like the game is, it gives the game a little bit more credibility at a minimum.
Agree. All right. So welcome to Geeked Out Basketball. Nitpicking here. My name is Sammy. My daughter's name is Samantha. We call her Sammy all the time. We spell IESAM. I don't know. I don't think that matters. But you have a female. I don't know. Just me. Just because I personally have a Sammy in my life. I'm here to teach you everything you need to know in order to master the most challenging basketball sim game out there. Let's start by discussing the most important thing. I'm gonna go through this pretty quickly, Rory. You just jump in.
Yeah, is this information necessary to be like, should this information be front loaded or should it come later? This is where I'm not the target audience for this, so like,
right.
Disregard anything that I like is out of whack here.
Okay, so play game. Okay.
I would probably skip that first tip. That seemed pretty self-explanatory.
Right. Agreed. Can call plays. I think, like, I would just put it like the focus, it feels a little bit small, the text, but the focus bar is where you can call plays for your specific players. Done. Make the text bigger. Use the strategy bars for offense, defense. Okay. Okay, let's get to the game. The Benton Knights, the top team in the.
This is very wordy.
Yeah. So
yeah, you should look at look at your analytics in terms of like how much time people spend on each screen here, where they potentially drop off from the screen, etc. And look both for the median and the average, because I feel like you're going to have people that actually read and the people that are skipping because information overload.
Yep. How do you feel about banners here? Because, you're really not doing anything. You feel like
So
maybe
you have that big
right
black
here?
bar in the middle.
Yeah.
What is that going to be used for something?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
One. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, this could be a banner, theoretically, nothing but that.
Yeah. So how,
I don't know.
I guess this is where this is where we're maybe some of the things that we clicked through a little bit too quickly would have helped, because now I'm not sure, like, how do you play?
No,
Do you?
we didn't. I said the same thing. I had no idea what was going on here too. This is just what's happening within the game, this area. This time I actually read it, Jamie. The first time we got on the call, I wasn't reading it, but this time I did actually read everything. He didn't say anything about this. So I think what we can do is just put like a game cast, Jamie, here too, since Aurora was confused. Like if you think about, I do this with ESPN sometimes when I'm really interested in game, or I used to do this baseball. It's like inside, outside, like you see the graphic. And so here you might want to show a little balls or right the ball moving and taking a shot and all that stuff. I do feel like I thought it was just something within my app, my phone. I do feel like this feels a little bit too long. Like you can go quicker. And
Maybe there's a way where you can speed it up as well. Like
yeah,
you have one of those yeah, fast forward buttons.
we're not the target market, but at the same time, I do feel like it's a little bit slow. Like I'm willing to wait probably 30 seconds. Like you think about a rewarded video ad, probably 15 to 30 seconds for this. Don't want to wait. I don't know how long we've been doing this, but I don't want to
Okay,
wait
so he
any
says
time.
that we can fix it by click the gear in the upper right corner to increase the scroll pace. Do you see the gear?
No, I don't see it.
Upper
Maybe
right
it's
corner?
in,
Maybe it's covered by the
it's getting cut off. I'm on the iPhone. I'm on an iPhone 7 Plus, just FYI. It's my spare phone.
7 Plus.
Yeah, that's where I put all my app audit phones. Here it is.
Isn't that a really, really old phone?
Yeah. Aurora schooling me on my phone.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
like
this is my
you're probably
normal phone, the iPhone
well,
10.
you're probably soon going to experience games that people want you to audit that aren't even working on such
I need
a
to start a Patreon then. Get Steve a better phone that he can audit. That's not his regular
yeah.
phone.
Yeah, but
Uh,
hey, geeked out basketball. I would like you probably have a lot of people in your network who is the target audience for this app. I would be watching over their shoulder as they do this, right? Because if they are the target, and your target actually has um, um, like they are okay and with more of the instructions because they understand why it's important, then like disregard some of our feedback. But if your question was how to get more downloads, I think just looking at me and Steve trying to understand what's going on here shows that it wouldn't be in its current form something that the mass market would be able to adopt. So it just depends on like I think you need to align your expectations around like who you're trying to target. And maybe this is like if you're able to find a pocket of hardcore basketball simulator players on like a Facebook group or Reddit thread, like that might be a place where you should actually do some paid ads to see if you can scale things that way.
do you have, so Jamie wanted the advice on feedback on first time user experience and also monetization strategy. So I know that within the monetization strategies, I can do new game, save game. Where was it, Jamie? Thought it certain things are locked. So let's go back, save and quit. Okay, new game. I can't do new game for some reason, Jamie. I thought there was a new game where I can then do the tournaments or single game, and then the tournaments and single games, Aurora, were the ones that you can upgrade your account for. For some reason, I can't get
Mhm.
to it right now. But any feedback on the monetization side of things?
So did we look at the monetization side?
Yeah, well, I can't get to, for some reason when I'm tapping on new game, it's not
Okay.
there. But let's see if I can get to hit
By the
this.
way, I just want to call out that both of you who are asking for feedback here, just want to thank you for having uh, the guts to ask for feedback in such a live forum, because I know it can be nerve-wracking to see someone like us not understanding what is going on, or I guess when anyone not understanding or being confused by things that is pretty obvious to you at this point. Um, so
That's real.
yeah, please don't be discouraged by any of this.
Okay, so he's sorry, you need to finish the game tutorial first. Okay. Miguel agrees. I think you're being harsh on me. Okay, Aurora. All right. Steve clicked save game to finish tutorial. Oh, okay. Save game. Oh, is it because I didn't finish the game? Okay. My bad. So that's his monetization style. Some of the things I gave him were like, hey, I thought maybe ads would be appropriate here because I think giving people when I'm thinking about monetization, I think that's when people want options, Aurora, versus just saying like, okay, so we got a score versus just saying, do you want to buy this or not? Right. And he was saying that, hey, it's monetized through here. Now we can do new game, this stuff. So you have to pay to, I'm going to pick a, so you have to pay to play season mode. You have to pay to play tournament mode. I think one of the things that might be interesting is to give them more options. So even if you wanted to do season mode is $2 or $5, but then tournament mode is another $5. But together you can just pay, you can save. We're very rational that way. And so we want to find the deal that might be more interesting versus my remove ads thing. The remove ads, I wanted to run it on app advice anyways. And I think, okay, you can do all these in here. Okay, you can do all these things here. So that's what I was thinking. Like we do have a case study where one of the apps we did one of these audits, he was able to 17x his revenues just by adding more options to his in-app purchase screen. Because right here, Jamie just has one option. So anyways, do you have anything that you wanted to add on the monetization side, Aurora?
Maybe a bundle for them all that is at a discount. So
Oh, like
get
change the
all of
ball,
them from
customize
90.
it.
Yeah, like because now you pay $4.99 per like per mode or duration or difficulty, I believe. And maybe there's a bundle where you can get them all for $9.99.
Well, it's $4.99 to unlock both the season and tournament. So he only has one app
Oh,
in
okay,
a
okay.
purchase that unlocks both.
Gotcha.
And yeah, and that's what I was trying to tell him too. Is like maybe have a bundle. Like this is $2.99, this is $2.99 separately, but together you
Hmm.
can get it for $4.99. And then we're like, oh, that's way cheaper. And this is a niche anyway, niche audience, and so we're
Yeah.
more willing to pay the better deal.
And some pricing strategy also. Dan Airley, I believe his name
Mhm,
is.
mhm.
MIT professor, I think. He has a few books on like decision making and psychology around it. And I know that one of the fund run founders changed the monetization setup in the original fund run game based on some of his reading from one of his books. And um, I believed in the initially it had 3 tiers. Then after reading, he added a fourth tier, which was like anchoring.
Mhm.
So I believe it was 199, 499, 999, and then like 24.99. And by adding that 24.99, it made the 999 so much more appealing to a lot of people. And so I and like the 199 seemed like okay, I can definitely do that. And so we looked at the demographic of our users after rolling that out. And in the US, I believe the 499 became like the highest revenue driver. But then in the Middle East, it became the 24.99.
Wow.
So we actually didn't think the 24.99 would drive much value at all, but it just really anchored that like, okay, this is like far out there. And so that's too expensive. So let's focus on these like um, other ones where it's easier to accept the price.
You find that some people, like maybe you found out in the Middle East where there's money, they want them more expensive. Like when I went working with clients, like, give me the more expensive one, and, because they're like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm worth it. And that's what they want to do. So it feels good to them too. I love that. Yeah, the book that you're probably referring to is Predictably Irrational, and I use some
Hmm.
of that psychology stuff when I'm thinking about this recommendation because we're all irrational, and that's why I was saying like, hey, if you just have one, it's either yes or no. But if you give them options and then you show where the better options are, then people start buying what you want them to buy. And that's what you guys did with the price anchoring as well.
Hmm.
Oh. Okay, let's see. BMZ said, thanks for the tips. Really helpful. So we did a great job. Great job to you, Aurora. And then let's see. Thanks. And then Jamie says, yes, great advice. I'm just, the theme gave me a 2007 GameSoft simulating Game 5's nostalgia. There you go. You got a fan out there. Geeked Out Games. Geeked Out Basketball is the app that you want to check out there. Aurora, anything we missed that you want to make sure we cover? I've kept you for too long, my friend.
That's fine. I don't think so. I think from metal side, we have some
Yeah.
exciting updates being announced in 2 weeks. So um, stay tuned for that. And otherwise, happy holidays. Like I'm excited for what everyone's working on.
I like
Yeah,
it.
and you can go and check out Megacool if you'd
You can
like.
still use Megacool, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, it is, you go to metal.tv, you'll find all that stuff. The platform that Aurora built, Megacool, it allows you to drive growth and get people to share through gifts. And she found through all her research, right? She's really started building content, talking to her users, that gifts get the highest engagement, the longest, most shares. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying anything wrong, but that's what they've been able to see. And that's why they have it in GIF form. So you can get
Yeah.
started with that as well.
You can see some of the companies that we're working with, and
Yeah, really cool.
yeah. So for the basketball game, the video recording is not something I would recommend, but I would recommend doing rewarded referrals. And for the car racing game, I think a highlight from the race may work. Um,
Yeah.
if you're able to detect what a highlight would be, maybe crossing the finish line or like a massive crash, and then tie it to reward referrals.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I put it here, I'll end with this because I got to go to another call. If you're okay with time, I saw
Hmm.
this very interesting thing where the screenshot, like people with virality, people want to share what makes them look good, right? And
Hmm.
it's like, how do you really tap into a person's ego? And I know with screenshot sharing, I know Fun Run did this really well. It's like you got first place, you know, and you guys were just doing like text within the app, kind of like what Jamie was doing to be like, hey, tag us, you know, share it. You can get some different characters and customizations. And so really think about how you can make your users look good by getting them to share. And one of the things here, I'll share this presentation I put together for our academy that you'll get a glimpse of. Maybe I should just make this for the live audience. But, anyways, one of the things that Zero, a fasting app that I use frequently, did was they would send so if you've got for games, you know, like here, I won, and kind of use your example with Crossroad. People were sharing their top scores, right? They're looking good. With Zero, you know, they send me a weekly email and it's like, tweet this. So I was like, is anybody tweeting this? So I did check it out. And then what they also did was you can share your fast breaker. So what's your meal after your
Mm.
fast with the time? So again, you're making me look good, right? I fasted 110 hours. How many did I do? 126, beat that sucker. And then they were tweeting it. So they're like, last week I fasted for this many hours, and then fasting with zero. So if you want people to share on social media about you a little bit more, think about how you can make them look good. And so that's the best. I thought that they did a pretty good job of that. You can even see Calm too doing it here. This is all the Instagram posts with hashtag Daily Calm, I think. Yep. It is Daily Calm.
I think just overall, though, you shouldn't expect that people are interested in sharing this publicly anymore. Um, the expectation should rather be that you want your users to share with the ones that they believe are the the most likely to engage with the content. Because we see from all our metrics that if things show up on Twitter or on Facebook, like the conversion rates to install, like
Yeah.
even just clicking is is like zero. But if it's through a messaging app where it's a target, like it's high in comparison.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. And
If
nice.
you want to, Aurora, do you want to send the audience anywhere else if they want to connect with you personally?
If you're on Android, we do have a Android recorder app. It's you can just search for Metal, and it
Oh,
allows you
cool.
to capture last 30 seconds to, I believe, 2 minutes if you change the settings. And it's super good for anyone that is like playing games in general, but also since I believe there are app developers primarily on this stream.
Yeah.
It's really good for beta testing, right? Someone is playing, they're seeing a bug or something, and they just quickly hit the button, and the last X seconds are captured, and they can send this clip to you for to help you improve your platform or a game.
This is the app. So if you're a developer, you just need this app, and then people can start sharing it, or is it if you're a player?
Yeah, no. If you're a player, if you're testing yourself and you just want to capture bugs as you go, like you can use it as well. It's just one of the use cases that I know is very very good for developers, because you if you're testing your app or have someone test your app, you like have to start recording. But this lets you like just tap the button, and the last seconds are there for your review later. Because you always, in retrospect, think that, oh shit, I should have recorded this.
I love it. I love it. All right. Go check out metal.tv. Aurora, thank you so much for coming on and doing this. I really appreciate our friendship throughout the years and for you taking time out of your busy schedule for coming on and doing this. Everybody, let's give her a hand. Let me see if I found the right one. Nope.
Thank you, Steve.
Nope. There it is, Aurora. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. It's been great.
Sorry.
No. Thank you, Steve.
Next week, we're going to have Mark Johnson. Yeah, you know Mark. We had dinner with Mark at Casual.
Oh, yeah. Is he still in the emoji avatar space?
Good.
Cool.
Good memory. Yes, he is. And we're going to have him on. He's going to talk all about app events, a new iOS feature. Well, I'm kind of bullish on it, especially if you want to get an Apple feature. And so he's going to talk about his experience with app events, how you can do it, everything you want to know about app events. We're going to break it down because it's a brand new thing. And he's been leading the charge within our Academy group. And so I was like, Mark, you got to come on and share that. So join us next week, Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific. You know the time zone for everywhere else. And I'll see you guys next week. Aurora, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Steve. Likewise. Say hi to the family.
Guys. Thanks for joining. Jamie, Onesie Lou, thank you guys so much for doing this. All right. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.